Hey, it's Marilyn. I'm a Melco certified trainer, and today I'm going to teach you how to put your cap driver on so that you can do caps on your machine. First thing I want you to do is go to your OS software, and I want you to go to the hoop list, and I want you to choose red WACF. It stands for wide angle cap frame. That's what we're about to put on, the red WACF. And then also right underneath where you're going to choose that hoop, you're going to see speed. And what I want you to set it on is about 900 stitches per minute, because I feel like 900 stitches per minute for a cap is reasonable. So let's go ahead and set that at 900 and then do our red WACF, and then let's put the driver on. All right. First thing we have to do is we have to remove these hoop arms. So they are screwed in with 2 screws. So get your Allen wrench. It's the biggest Allen wrench in your set. It's a 6mm Allen wrench. Get your Allen wrench and you're going to remove those screws. Now mine are kind of already loose because I loosened them up a little bit before I started the video. But you're going to take that Allen wrench and loosen your screws, and then use your hand to untighten the rest. All right, there's the 2 screws, and I take the arm completely off the machine. Now I'm going to go to the other side, use my Allen wrench, unscrew those 2 screws. Again, mine are a little bit loose because I loosened them before the video, because you should not be able to unscrew them with your fingers. That would mean they weren't tight enough, because you don't want any movement from your hoop arms. All right, so took off my 2 hoop arms. Now you're going to remove this black cover right here. Underneath this black cover is a screw. You're just going to unscrew it, and that black cover is going to come off. All right, just put that on the side. Now, the reason that you took that black cover off is so that you can put this on right here, the support arm, bottom support arm. Now, right here, what I want is I want this to be flush. I don't want those screws to be in my way. So I want this to be a smooth place to run your finger. So you're going to have to unscrew these screws a little bit so that that's nice and smooth. That's perfect. Now, put this on right here, slips on right like this. You're going to push it all the way back until it can't go anymore. Now you're going to tighten those thumb screws. So after you get it on, then you're going to tighten these 2 screws. So slip it on, and now tighten those screws, those big thumb screws. They're easy to tighten because they're nice and big. All right, I'm making them snug so that there's no movement. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the driver on. This is your cap driver. It's a very expensive piece, so I recommend that you keep it in the box that it came in. So line this screw up. You have 5 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That center one, let's line that up with this piece right here. That's just going to make it easier to go onto the machine. Now this, let me turn it over. See this right here? That is going to slip right onto this pole right here. And then if you look right here, you see this little hole? That's where the screw is going to go in. That is going to slip right on top of this carriage. There are 4 screw holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. The inner hole, the inner screw hole, that is what you're going to be screwing the carriage down with into the inner hole. So this is going to slip right on top of the carriage, and this is how we're going to line it up to slip it onto the machine. So turn around like this. It's going to be hard for me to do it from the side, but I'm going to try. Normally I would be right in front of the machine. You're going to slip it on, and you see how nice that glides like that? Now put your hands under here like this, and you're going to slip that black piece where I was showing you where the screw holes are. You're going to slide that back and forth, whatever you have to do. You can slide it side to side. It's hard for me to do this without being in front of the machine. All right, and now I have these lined up with the holes that I'm going to screw the screw in, the same ones that I used to take the hoop arms off. All right, slipping it on. It is a perfect fit. It is a perfect fit. So if you're struggling a little bit, first of all, if this is the first time that you're putting this on, you may need to adjust it. And there are videos on Melco on how to adjust it. But it is a very precise fit, and it slips right on top of that carriage. So now let me get those screws that I took out for the hoop arms. And I'm going to line up the screw on this side. And I'm going to get the screw going. Now I have that screw going, so now I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to move this carriage out of the way so that you can see better. I'm going to press the 3 needle. Let me show you what I'm doing. You can press this button. If you want to move the needle case this way, you press this one. If you want to move the needle case that way, you press this one. So I'm going to press this one and this one together. That just gets the needle case out of the way. Now I'm going to come back to what I was doing. Okay, needle case is out of my way. Now I'm just going to come over here and tighten this screw. After you hand tight, just going to take my ring finger and just give it a slight tug just till I have a little resistance. And then I'm assuming maybe this is the first time you put your cap driver on. So what you should do is you should add a couple drips of oil. Right here. Let's put 2 drips of oil. And guess what? We're ready to run caps. This is your cap gauge, and you're going to slip it onto a counter with this approximate width. You're going to screw it onto the bottom and secure it to the counter edge. Now, this is your hoop or your cap frame. And you'll see how there's a little cutout right here. See that little cutout section? On your gauge, you have this little piece that juts out. That is going to slip on there just like that. You're just going to push it on. Now, I recommend that you push this and roll this up so that this is shooting straight up to the ceiling, the little part that fits together. See that? Just rolling that up to the top. Now, I'm going to take my cap and I'm going to make it a flat bill. So make it flat. You can always shape it back later, but let's make it flat. Pull the sweatband out, slip it on here like this. I am not using backing because it's a Richardson 112. It is very sturdy. Stabilizer stabilizes fabric. And I don't feel like I need stabilizer for this particular design. Sometimes I do like to use backing because it helps smooth out the cap. So sometimes I will use a piece of 14-inch hat backing inside of a cap just to kind of smooth out the area and help the hat roll. But on this particular design, I am not going to use any backing at all. Pull my sweatband out, put the cap here. Now, you have the seam of the cap. You want to get it in the vicinity of this red line, but you don't have to be exact. You just want to get it in the vicinity. So I'm putting this here. Now, I'm pulling the cap down below these black bars. Pulling the cap down below those black bars. Now, I'm going to pull this strap over. And I'm pulling it pretty tight. I want to get the teeth of the strap where the cap meets the bill. That's where I want that to be. When you're doing a cap, your design is about 2 inches tall maximum. So you don't want to lose any of that space. So you want to get it down as far as possible, right where that seam is. You want to put this strap right where that seam is. Now I'm going to hold on to the black bar and I'm going to press this. I'm going to clip this on here, and I'm going to push that over. Now, make sure that when you grab the cap like this, there's no movement. You don't want it to move on this frame at all. So I'm kind of pushing on it, pulling on it, making sure that it is securely on there. Okay. Also, you want to make sure that your cap is flat right here. So flat that you could actually sit something on it. I'll sit my canned air on it like that. Basically, you just want to make sure that this area is flat. And when you're doing Richardson 112, try to avoid this bubble as much as possible, because that's kind of what causes us problems with their hats. They have, it's so stiff. Sometimes you want to make this air bubble as small as you possibly can. I'm going to drop the presser foot. Again, I'm going to press the emergency stop button. I'm going to roll the shaft. And now you see my presser foot is touching the sewing arm. Watch when I roll up this wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that way you can kind of see the distance between the presser foot and the sewing arm. So it's just hard to see when I have a cap on. So I wanted to show you what it looks like when you don't have a cap on. I'm going to twist the emergency stop button, and it pops back into place. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to put a cap frame or cap hoop on the machine without a cap on it first, so it might be a little bit easier to understand. So here you have that little cutout section, and then on the driver you have that little section that juts out just like you had on your cap gauge. So you're going to line that up. So you're going to slip this on. You have 3 places that it's going to clip in right here. One at the bottom, and then one over here on this side. See that? 1, 2, 3. It's going to clip in 3 times. You have these right here, thumb pushes, that you can push on to clip it into place. So I'm going to push this on. I'm going to pretend I have a hat on here. And you're going to use your thumb push to push, click, click, click. You should hear 3 clicks. And now my cap hoop is on the machine. To remove it, you're going to press 1, 2, 3. Slip it off the machine. Now let's put on the one that we actually hooped. Here we go. Obviously you can't go here, so you have to turn it sideways, slip it on, and roll it around. And you do kind of have to take your body to the side of the machine to line it up, like I was telling you. And then you're going to use those thumb push areas. 1, 2, 3. So I want to hear 3 clicks. Make sure it's clicked in 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And I always like to double check myself. I'll grab the hoop itself and I'll pull it. Right here, I'll pull it. And then also at the bottom, I pull it to me and I make sure that there is no movement there. Also, if you look on the side, you want to make sure that where the hoop meets the driver, there's no space between the red and the silver. No space right there. But this is a good way to know that it's definitely on the machine. Now that the hat is on the machine, let's do 2 things. I want to raise the presser foot, and I also want to help you find the center. So to see the presser foot, it's kind of hard for you to see unless I take this needle case over. So let's use this needle button with this arrow over. And now you can actually see the presser foot wheel right here. So let's go ahead and drop the needle safely. Press this emergency stop button. Make sure you have a red light right here and turn the shaft all the way down. Now, the presser foot is sitting on the cap. So I'm going to roll it up once, twice. It's very hard to see the presser foot actually moving. That's why I did the video. That's why I did this section of the video where you can actually see it when there's nothing on the machine. When there's no hat, you can actually see the presser foot move a little bit. I'm at click number 3. I'm going to stick a little piece of paper under the presser foot in the hat. It's still a little tight. I'm going to go up a 4th click. And then I am going to stick that under there. So now I know the presser foot is sitting on the cap and it is going to do its job. So I am going to take this out. The job of the presser foot is to keep the fabric down. And so you want to make sure it's not too high. You want it to hold the fabric down. Let's make ourselves a little note that we adjusted it and that we don't forget to roll it back down when we're finished doing caps. When we go back to flats, we want to roll our presser foot down all the way back down, because it won't do its job when you go back to flat. So I'm just going to put this little note right here so I do not forget to roll my presser foot back down when I take the cap off the machine, when I take the cap driver off the machine. Let's lift this by twisting. All right, there we go. Presser foot's adjusted. Next thing you want to do, now my design that I'm doing, it does not matter. It does not matter that it is perfectly centered. I'm going to do my best to get it pretty close to the center, but I don't have to be so precise. But I get it. Sometimes your design will have to be very precise. Maybe it's a star, maybe it's a cross, maybe it's a letter H, and you want it to be dead center. So to do that, it's going to be the same process. What you're going to do, take your eye, look at the tip of the needle with your eye, and bring your eye down to the seam of the cap. And try to get as close as you can to where you think the needle is going to go down into that seam. Then press your emergency stop. I have a red light. Now I'm going to twist. And there you go. My needle goes right into the center of my cap. Maybe I'm a hair off, but again, it doesn't matter for my particular design. Now, twist, needle comes up, and if you're a little bit off, you can just use your rectangle with your arrows to move it over so that your needle lines up with the center of your cap. If you have 50 caps to do, you're probably not going to drop the needle every time, but if it's a design where it really matters, you will probably learn how to just do what I do, which is I look at the tip of the needle and just bring my eye down to the center of the cap. And now we are ready to trace it out and go. So we're going to trace it out using the rectangle and the star. I have an 80-12 sharp for this particular color that I'm about to use, because you need an 80-12 sharp for a Richardson 112. And here we go. This is so you can see that we start with the bottom word first, and then we're doing the top word, and we've cut this word in half. Your digitizer will know to start your designs at the bottom and come out this way. So I highly recommend that you get your hats digitized for hats. It'll make your life so much easier. Let's finish this cap. Cap is complete. I'm going to press 3 times, pull it off the machine, and clip it over here. And then the last thing that you're going to do is, if you have some scissors, little small scissors that are curved, they are great for cutting off your little extra threads. And there you have it, Richardson 112.